the world is not as ugly as it is made to seem. Zoli, you spoke these words this week, and they really brought me a peace and an awareness of the beauty that's all around us. Welcome to the Zoli Art Montana podcast. My name is Linda, here with Zoli Althea Brown. So, Zoli, why are we so focused on the ugliness?
I think it's a lower chakra thing. It's almost like we want to protect ourselves, right? It's like watching monster movies or watching criminal movies or reading the news. Oh, I survived that. I think it's a survival thing that we do, and it probably goes way, 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 way back. But it can also be a social thing. I don't think it's real healthy, but we all do it. I have to catch myself. And I'm glad whatever I said brought you a little comfort. That's always comforting to me to hear. I think the times that we're in are so unusual because we are all connected, right? I mean, there's not like everybody is, but most people are connected. We can find what's going on all over the world with just the flick of a device. And I don't think it's ever been like that before. Technology has changed everything. AI is going to change everything for the better once we grow up and do it for the best. But I think the tendency of humanity to look for the worst is to catastrophize and think, how can I get through this if that happens? It's like being an extreme prepper. And we live in Montana. I mean, I understand the prepper consciousness. But it's not, the world is not as awful as it is made out to be, because we can be sitting looking in our garden, looking at the birds, talking to people, at least those of us in the Western world and some parts of the world. It is awful and it's terrible. And what's happening is these things that have been underground for so long are rising up. Emotions, belief systems, political parties, and it seems as though everything's breaking apart. A lot of things are, because we're in the time of these structures dissolving. We have to be reasonable and keep trying to go forward in the things that we know work for us, and to communicate enough with like minded others to not allow these icky things to run our life.
That's a much more reasonable way of approaching it, to find people to collaborate with that take you out of the fear and maybe even into the creativity.
I don't know how else we do it. Um, I have to be isolated a lot with my work because of just where we live and what I do. But I certainly communicate a lot with people. I go into town. I don't have to ride a mule into town where it takes 2 days, even though it seemed like that sometimes. But you have to find your own balance. You really do. And I think communicating with other people, the mirror neurons, is important to find what works for you. We are social creatures, but how social? How social do you want to be? Are you a Gemini or are you a Scorpio? All that astrological stuff can be kind of fun to play with too. But this all gets down to find out more of who you are. Find out what you love and what you don't. It's a lifetime. At age almost 72, I'm still finding that out. And we do change and we do grow. And if you're with a partner or if you're in a marriage, you will change and grow. The point is to do it lovingly and to be together when we do it, at least in our mind and our heart.
That has exciting potential. We don't have to stay in where we're at now. As we get to know ourselves, we grow and change.
We will. We will grow and change. And we can't stay where we are. Things are so called changing all the time. We may not attenuate to that. But what we want is, we want better. That's what humanity is. We want to improve things. We want more love. We want more health. We want more beauty. We want more light, illumination, intelligence, education, beautiful art. This is what is coming in this world. I promise you, it is coming. Right now, it seems very overshadowed. But remember one thing, we agreed to be here. This didn't just happen. I had to remind myself of that yesterday. Oh my God, was I an insane person yesterday? I was going like a bat out of hell until 12 at night. Then I started going into my self pity martyr act, and I said, You created everything that happened to you today. This was all your crap, Zoli. Every single bit of you having to get it done today. And your husband's looking at you like you have a horn growing out of your forehead. I might, I don't know. But if we can own ourselves, how do we own ourselves? By looking at who we are. We can't grow and change unless we get rid of the past, but you don't want to do it all at once because we build on the past. It's the building blocks. We can't get rid of our history. We're not supposed to. You tear down all the statues and the artwork, things of the past because they might have been icky people. Well, who's not just saying 100 years they're not going to look at you that you were an icky person? I don't know. We, we have to build on who we are and what we have. And we do that through love, through kindness, you trying to be reasonable, my favorite word. Try to live in the moment and do what you can on a daily basis. When I do that, my life goes better. I didn't do that yesterday. Just ask my husband or my cat.
Your cat tells you where you're at.
Yeah, she went and hid under the bed. She's like, I've had enough of your crap today.
The reasonableness of that, approaching it with love and kindness, can really help get over so be the little bit of tough love that we need to get over ourselves when we feel self-pity.
It appears so. What is being reasonable? What it is raising our energy from our third seal, the chakra, the emotional center, up to the heart, and get it up into the mind, into the ajna center, the sixth chakra. To get it up there, you can't be emotional if you're focused up there. You just can't, because that is the mind. That is your intuition. That is the pineal pituitary. It pops into all of that. And the reason is that is where we think that clearly that's where my brain is. It's not down there in my gut.
What are some ways to raise your vibration in that way? How can people do it?
Oh boy. I was just talking to a young man yesterday about that who has some injuries from being in Afghanistan. He says he does a lot of yoga. He meditates and he does a lot of yoga. He goes to therapies, but we have to find a way, all of us, to quiet ourselves inside. Quiet inside creates a calmer body. It keeps all this nervous stuff from firing. And the more jacked up I get, the more jacked up I get. I thought, well, here you go. Why don't you? This morning, I had to go into one of my little massage technique things and do that and calm down, do some yoga and stretching. And oh my God, I felt so much better. Imagine that. Do I do that every day? No, because I'm addicted to moving. Look at what I do with this chair. I'm moving all the time. I'm like a chipmunk. So, this is my thing. When I can quiet myself, when I can quiet inside, that is when the magic happens.
The magic. How do you let that magic happen without getting loud and noise and moving again?
It's a different kind of magic. That's a different kind. That's joy. I've had some synchronicities happen when I'm in that state. I'll give you an example. You've all had this happen. I was going downtown today, and I hate going downtown because I can't park this big ass truck I drive, right? These little places. But right on the side of the federal building, there are areas I can get into. So lo and behold, I found a parking place. Then I'm walking around downtown and I can't find the office I'm supposed to go to. They said it's here, 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 here. So I get in my truck and I drive down to where I thought it was. It's not there. I call her again. And lo and behold, it was maybe a half a block from where I'd parked before. And I thought, well, I already paid the meter and all this. So I drove back and the place was still open. I had already paid the meter 2 hours. So I got in the same place. And I thought, that's when things flow because I tried. I didn't say, well, I can't find it. I quit. And so for me, the effort of continuing to try to ask for help, where is your building, to ask for engagement. Most people are glad to help you. They really are. And we get down to the happiness piece, that little happiness core inside of us. It feels good for the moment when we've worked through something. And we are here to work through a lot of shit. We just are. It's not going to stop. A young man at Verizon yesterday, I saw he had written on his arm, "It doesn't get easier, it gets harder, but you get better at it." Oh my God, that's one of my statements. I love it. It doesn't get easier, but we get better at it because we get cooler jobs to do from spirit and from other people. It's like we graduate from certain things and go on, and it's cool to celebrate that stuff. But we can only do it if we have the seasoning of doing work for other people, doing some kind of service work, and then the meditation and the prayer. That seasons us. It allows us to recognize those signatures of peace of mind. What is that signature? What does it feel like to you? What does it feel like? What do you intuit it like? That's going to be yours. And you can't explain it to anybody. If the words aren't there, there are no words. We can come up with words, but it's never the same thing as the signature, and it's precious. And nobody can take that from you. Nobody can. So it's this combination, this balancing, this seasoning of the external and the internal, and it never ends.
There's a lot of wisdom in that acceptance and going back to an awareness that everything is intuition.
It comes and goes. It really does, because sometimes I'm not being intuitive because I'm having to arrange work, dig a hole, something with a backhoe, and that I'm not being very intuitive when I do that. I'm having to use my real world skills. So what we learn to do is to use the skills we need when we need them. That is a great, great skill in itself to be able to do that. When I do that, oh my gosh, my life goes great. But we keep looking for this total peace of mind, this total state of Eden, and it's not going to happen. We're not here for that. That's an abstract ideal. That is something we aspire to. It's the statement of everybody can do certain things, eat, drink, water, um, go to the bathroom, sleep. Those are things we breathe. That's what we all do. But as far as the personality dictations, that's going to be dictated by your culture, by your upbringing, and how you are maneuvering through your world. And it never changes. You will die your dying breath, never having gotten it all. And that frustrates me because I want it to be perfect, right?
Yeah, me too. It's such a challenge to balance the physical and the spiritual. I find, I had a breakthrough meditation, and then my toddler climbed on my face halfway through and just interrupted it all. Kids saying I'm hungry, or you're right in the middle of doing something really physical, and spirit says, "No, we're going to go do this now."
That's life. That is living life on the earth plane. And it can be the most frustrating. A friend of ours, they're getting ready, their baby's about to come in 3 weeks. And I said to this young man, he said, "Well, it's going to be great." And I said, "Well, when it's not, don't hate yourself, because there's times where it's going to suck big time and you are not going to know what to do. But this is life. We figure it out. We are learning creatures. We are problem solvers and we're learning creatures. So, how do you do all this stuff that we talk about on Zoli Art? How do you do it? You do it by three things. Here's the formula: ask yourself, be honest with yourself with what you're thinking, then be sincere with what you're saying, and then detach, let it go. Our too much concern with what social media is saying, or this person or that person, you're going to go through that stage in your life. But as an adult, stop. Just stop. Figure out who you are and what you want, because you never know who's going to be listening to you.
Figure out who you are. That is the key.
It is. It's really why we're here. It's really why we're here. Once we figure more and more and more pieces to who we are, that puzzle starts coming together and we can see what it is. We spend a lot of times in our youth pulling different pieces to the puzzle that just don't fit. You're supposed to. That's how you learn. I mean, I didn't make that one up. So I think we come here to find more and more pieces of who we are. We do it every lifetime, and we add to it, and we're specialists. I think we come in every lifetime to learn more about the soul, each of our soul. We do it by having different personality pieces, different race structures, different astrology charts. We get the whole ball of wax, so to speak. It's like going into Trader Joe's, all the stuff. We get all of that, but not in one lifetime, not in one. And sooner or later, we become more of a specialist. Let's say that you come back lifetime after lifetime, you're an artisan and you're either a composer, a musician, a graphic artist, a writer, whatever you are. But each lifetime, you will come in to improve your access to that frequency. And it's the frequency of your soul. Your soul was created to do and be in a certain way. And that is who you will be all your lives on earth. You can come to your first life on earth. You may have been in Lemuria and then gone out into the universe for hundreds and thousands of years. But you have to come back to earth because you have a contract. Once you've had a life here, your name is here and you've got to finish that. Some people are on the fast track, some people aren't.
Can you change your mind about that contract?
No, no, you can't because you signed on the line that says, I'm in Earth School and I'm going to be in Earth School because you start out until you reach the point where you are a pre initiate for the first initiation. Where you are pre-initiate, most of those people will be vegetarian because of the blood in animal. It interferes at that particular frequency. You will go through the first degree initiation, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth initiation you can either do on the planet or not. The sixth one, you are very clear, very clear. But who's there? You're not going to be there. Nobody's going to sin in this life. We got to do this work, got to pay our rent. We have to be people. We are people. But no, you have to finish it at some point.
Talking about souls, what is a soul group?
Soul group is very interesting. Um, it's about 1,000 souls, and they follow each other around in pretty much every lifetime. There may be a certain number of them in body and a certain number of them out of the body. And you feed each other energy. A lot of what channeling is people are channeling from their soul group. And you are really one soul. You are one entity. And in a greater sense, all of humanity is only one soul. But I can't even understand that. I know it's a truism. But if we're just looking at the soul group, these are the characters that we run into over and over and over again. They run into us like, God, I feel like I know that person. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. Maybe the personalities in certain lives, you play the role of being absolute enemies. Maybe you will hate each other. In the next life, you're going to be so in love you can't stay away from each other. It's all like a board game. We keep moving the pieces around, but we got to stay on the board. So the soul groups come in to learn things in particular. It may be a soul group that's mainly artisans, mainly warriors, maybe this, maybe a lot of that. And you come in to focus that lens on that particular energy field in every life. And you collect and collect. Benjamin Krim from Sheridan National, he tells this hysterical story about how he was so sure that he was a certain person in history. And finally, his master said, no, that was actually somebody in your soul group. But see, we have the memories of those people too. So all the people who think they were Cleopatra, if you're just not being a big fat liar, maybe it was a soul group. Maybe you were in the soul group. Usually it's just drama and glamour, but it's very possible.
It's interesting. The soul group is kind of here for a purpose larger than our individual purpose.
Yeah, it's I'm sure there are better explanations than what I'm saying in a more simplistic way, but it's your hood. It's your people.
Is channeling always from the soul group?
No, no, channeling comes from, and I'll say that I wish when I was in my channeling phase and my learning back in my 20, 50 years ago, somebody had explained this to me without the two sides. One side saying, oh my God, that's wonderful and it's all true. And the other people, the people who could think clearly said, that is a bunch of crap. Where did you get that? You're just crazy. So I didn't get any answers, but I was getting something. But what it is from your third chakra. That is your emotional center. Channeling is always from the astral realm, these 7 levels. And there are some magnificent writings channeled. The Course in Miracles was written supposedly by a buddy of Jesus, somebody, his friends or disciples, whatever you want to call that. It's magnificent. Messages from Michael. There are all of these teachings that come from these higher levels of the astral realm, fifth, sixth, sometimes seventh, sometimes. But most of the stuff is levels 1 and 2 is what we call hell. I mean, it's icky there. It's a bunch of negativity. Levels 3 and 4 is where most people go when they pass. And that is where most of the channeling comes from. Most of it is made up and most of it is from entities who believe they are Elvis, and they will tell you. But here's a funny thing. Somebody said this to me when I was doing my channeling era 50 years ago. So you think you got something from Thomas Jefferson is really beautifully written. Why would he talk to you? I couldn't answer. So if you're channeling whoever, Winston Churchill, why would he talk to you? The truth is, they're not. A lot of times, what we're tapping into is what Jane Roberts in the Seth material would call the worldview of these people. Energy created is never destroyed. It's like the mind belt. Everything's out there all the time. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't get crowded because it expands constantly, I guess. Uh, get a physicist to explain that. But what channeling is from the emotion. It's very emotion ridden, emotion driven. It's not that you are wrong doing that. If you're doing that, you're getting something, but you can't always tell who it is or what it is. It's like going into the Greyhound bus station and waving your social security card and here's a checkbook. You never know who's going to get that. So you have to be discerning and careful. You have to be careful about anything, anyone. It's like channeling to me is like telemarketers calling you on the phone. They can say this, and this. And it may be true or it may not. So you have to learn that yourself. And it's not wrong to go through the phase of channeling, but if something that you stay in, you might consider pulling back your energy field and say, why am I stuck in my emotions?
Hmm.
Just that's just my opinion.
Yeah. It's fascinating to think, to see channeling from the emotional, because often it's seen as a supernatural or paranormal rather than an emotional experience.
Well, so much of supernatural, paranormal is emotional. Just watch some of the ghost shows. Oh my God, you're gonna scare the hell out of yourself. Yeah, the people that are doing it jumping and screaming. And why are you doing that? Most of the stuff that you're getting, I have an EMF meter and I can sometimes pick up stuff in the house, but you don't know what it is. You don't know. There are a lot of like this mind belt, a lot of these, let's call them tapes, get played in the house. They're over and over and over again. They're repetitive things. And you can pick up energy fields. You don't know what you're getting. Are you getting a portal with a discarnate? You don't know what it is. So they're trying to figure it out. And I love watching those shows. Those people are doing a great job, but it's very, very emotion driven. And there are some that aren't. And I think they're a little higher quality. And the people that are doing it may be a little more loving. I don't know. That's just a judgment. Don't quote me on that because I love those guys. I really do. I know some of them and I think they're amazing, but they're scaring themselves to death.
What's a way to that we can gain discernment in whether channeled material or other things are for us or for good or for bad?
Oh man, that's a hard one. That's really, really hard. That's part of the spiritual path of all the mystery schools. You hit on that. That's the path where you learn discernment. You go through initiation. And when you go through initiation, before you go it, you're already at that level. You don't go through the initiation, then get all these abilities. No, you work and you develop the abilities. Then the initiation comes. Then it comes. And then you are at a new level and you go to the next one. But it's a process of learning. All the mystery schools are based on that. There's no other way to do it than to go through the process. And it's no matter where we go, there we are. We can't we can't imagine ourselves into being an what the old soul drama and being an older soul than you are. Well, now I want to be in the fifth dimension. No, you can be in many at one time, but it's not all at once. It's more like attending to five different things. You really do it one at a time. You really do. And are there new dimensions coming in? Supposedly so, but who understands that? There's a new age drama, and there are people that say they're in the fifth dimension. Well, you're not because you're right in front of me and you're acting like an idiot and you have a stomach ache. So it, I don't understand all of it, but if you think you're so evolved and you have a cold, you can't make that go away. No, work on yourself more. Just try working on yourself. It doesn't change. There are no shortcuts. You can't take a bunch of drugs and alcohol and think you're becoming more enlightened. No, what you become is more emotional to believe you're more enlightened. You think you are. You've convinced yourself because you've changed the neurology of your brain, but you can't do it through drugs and alcohol. You have to do it clean, sober, clear, hard work. Sorry.
No easy answers there.
There aren't. There aren't. And it's really sad what we're seeing that you come here, you get in line to come on this planet. There's 60 million souls available for reincarnation. Um, And so, why would you come here once you get a place and try to leave by doping yourself to death every day? You don't. You miss a lot and you will fail. You will fail in most things in life because the best decisions you ever made was hold my beer, watch this. I've been there. Well, come on, it's a phase you go through, but hopefully it's just a phase.
It's all part of the learning experience.
It can be. It doesn't have to be. The people that have never done any of that. My thing was I drank wine. That was my deal. I really didn't do drugs. I wasn't a druggie. I smoked some cigarettes, but my thing was I would have made a wonderful alcoholic. I would have been very good at it. But I caught myself, I was doing binge drinking and I had to stop. That was 38 years ago. I went to meetings and I saw why. I saw what would happen to me. It's a serious, serious addiction and a disease. I still don't like to walk down the wine aisle of the grocery store. It goes, hello. But I don't want it. It's not a taste that I want in my mouth because I know what comes next. But it's different for a lot of people. But I would suggest try to find things that are wholesome and healthy and that make you feel good. Get addicted to going to the gym. Get addicted to yogurt. I don't know. It's personal.
Find what's healthy for you.
Just because something's good for you doesn't mean it's good for you.
Right.
That's the difference. That is the difference. And so that is where this path you're talking about, the discernment, how do you do it? You find out what works for you and then remind yourself, or I have to remind myself, by the way, last time you tried that or ate that or said that, how'd that go? Didn't go well, did it? So why are you going to do it again? Because I don't know what else to do. We'll figure it out. Like my mom used to say, you got mad, you get glad. Figure it out. Ooh, that used to make me mad.
And now you see the wisdom in it.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I see her all the time. She's in spirit, in the world of spirit, but she's here all the time. I wear her wedding band. Daddy too. She's around a lot more than he is. And so life continues. You never really die. Your mind doesn't. You die your body, but you're still there. There's something to look forward to because it gets cooler. But you got to finish this life. All the joys. You came here for a reason.
I like what you said earlier, when it gets hard, don't hate yourself. I think that's a good place to start for many.
Well, we do. We berate ourselves for many different reasons. Is it codependency? Is it childhood conditioning? Is it that we really don't want to do that again? So do it and get over it and stop. That's the wisdom in that. Just stop. But we do berate ourselves. But I think that this young parent is getting ready to go through the shock. He's 50 years old and now he's going to have a kid. He's freaked out. So what? You get freaked out, you figure it out. Who cares? That's what life is. And I said something to him that did make a difference to him. I said, what you're about to do to have a kid, people have been doing this from the beginning. You're not by yourself. He said, oh my God. Yeah, that's true. People do this all the time. It's how we get here. So you'll
Right.
be fine. They say there's no book for being a parent. There are plenty of books on it. There's plenty of opinions. It's out there. Just talk to people. People are cool.
That's true. You see the beauty in people as well.
That's very important. Find something that's cool. I think if you talk to somebody long enough, you're going to find interesting things about that person, even if they don't think so. When I was coming home from that place today, once I had the parking place, had the meeting, I came home and there was this gentleman in a wheelchair. He was wheeling himself down the street and he didn't have legs from his knees down, but he had these plastic pieces on it with stickers on it. And he said, you know why today's a good day? I said, tell me why. He said, because nobody said I didn't have to have a good day. And I said, dude, that is beautiful. I'm going to use that.
That is
And
beautiful.
that was something. And he's right. He said, nobody told me not to. So I'm going to have a good day. So we can turn everything around. And it's really contagious in our mind to say, I've had a wonderful life. My life has been wonderful. And look at my life now, how wonderful it is. You will think you are a big fat liar at first, but it becomes contagious. It starts attracting things to itself that's really cool and other people too. You can affect a lot of people just by being in a wonderful state of mind. Even if you're
If you're
really
really
not,
not,
we can train ourselves. I'm like a
there's
pit bull. I can be trained.
there's so much freedom in that too.
There is, and isn't that what we all want? We all want freedom, we want feel good, we want happy, and it can be there. It can be there more than not. But we train ourselves a lot of times to look for the worst. I will do my catastrophizing thing like what I did yesterday. Oh my God, a kid had that on video. Like, what the hell is she doing? Like a bat out of hell. But that was my drama. I thought I was getting something out of it. I wasn't. I wasn't at all.
It's almost like the drama gives us an excuse not to do the thing.
That's very true. The drama does give us an excuse not to do the thing. Or if we're doing it, we can be the big fat martyr and look at how hard my life is.
Mm.
Well, Zoli, you're the one that nobody's here in this house. Your husband's running a backhoe up at 6,000 feet. Who else is here besides you and the cat who's rolling her eyes, running under the bed? There's nobody here. Nobody but you. And you're rushing around like you're going to trip on your own feet. And if I had tripped on my own feet and fallen, I would see now, look what you did. I was just in one of those states. But I'm just a person. We're just people. We can't help doing this stuff sometimes. Give yourself a break. We're just people. And it's funny when you think about it. I think I grew up watching the Three Stooges. You're probably too young for that. The Three Stooges were these Larry, Moe, and Curly, these three fools that were hysterically funny. Those back in the 50s and 60s. And they were the drama kings. They got themselves into these bizarre situations, and each one was an archetype. There's the one that was the fool, the one that was smart, and the one that just followed everything that Larry said. So we all have that in us, but give yourself a break. You're going to do dumb shit. You're going to do brilliant shit. You're going to do everything available to humanity as far as emotions. You're just going to do it. You can't help it. Why? Because that's how we give back. We give back by literally doing those things. Then we beat ourselves up for it. But you never know that in 10 minutes, your life isn't going to change for the better. You don't know. So why not be happy about it? Be the happy idiot.
That's great advice. We need more happiness in the world.
Yeah, it would be nice. We're going through some really challenging times. And I recognize that. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm fluffing this off or saying, well, you're having problems and it's bad or you're having a hard time in your life. I'm not saying that at all. Believe me, I'm not saying that. These are very difficult times. We're in the time of huge, huge change. It's going to get better, but not today, probably. It's going to take some time. Can take some time, but the governments of the world will reach a point where they say, God, help us. We will have Maitreya step into the fold as a advice giver, advisor. The United Nations will take over the distribution of resources. You'll see an end to hunger. You will see new healthcare, new education. You'll see a world walk on tiptoe for a while. These things are coming, but we're going through this first. Those of you who have had children, you know what labor feels like. We're going through labor in this world. It's not fun. It's when you loved your husband 2 days ago. Now you're going to kill him for putting you in this position. So, who are we blaming for all this? We're all together on this globe. We did all of this. All of us are culpable. All of us are. They talk about the inequity between the wealthy and the non wealthy. It was like that in Rome. It's no different. It's no different now. But that's why it's got to change because we're at the end of that cycle. We're at the end of what's called the old age. And this is what it costs. These are the birth pains. This is the 2 year labor that we're going through, however long that is. You're going to see changes in this world, changes in government, changes in the people, we the people coming up, speaking our truth. And it's not going to be pretty. It's not because we're too dumb to do it in a peaceful way. We just are. We're just not going to do it very well. But it'll get better. It'll get better. And the way that you can make it better, each one of us, is to learn to control our emotions, learn to control our reactions and to respond instead of react. That takes some doing and that takes rising your energy field up to this ajna center in between your eyebrows. Try it. Try it and see how it works. You can't be emotionally driven if you're staying up there. That's where you go meditate in meditation also.
Hmm, that's great advice. There's a lot of hope in that and less helplessness.
Well, it's that helplessness feeling when we don't know what to do, when we really are lost. And this world is reaching the point where there is going to be a lot of helplessness in the government because they're still working on the old models that don't work anymore. And that very helplessness causes us to do what? To ask for help, to humble ourselves to divinity, to say, whatever is out there, if you believe in God, whatever religion, whatever belief system, higher power, if you just believe in beauty and in the dignity of the human spirit, stay on that one. That's pretty cool. It's like a deck of cards where you're always dealing good things.
I like that one. It's a good way of looking
And
at
I'm terrible
humanity.
at cards. Yeah, I'm terrible at cards. I'm terrible at fishing. I starved in one life because I was supposed to fish. I couldn't. I just this stuff I'm not good at. But I think what I am good at is continuing to have hope and to project hope because I really, really see it coming. I am a psychic medium and there's certain things that I can do and a lot of things I can't do. But I can guarantee you this world isn't going to fall apart and blow up. It's just not. If we had anything nuclear happen, the Space Brothers would stop it, like they had to do when Kim Jong Un was sending the the nuclear things up in there. I'm not going to get into all that. It makes me uncomfortable to even talk about it. But we are not allowed to blow this planet up. We're just not. So if the Space Brothers have to step in, or the Masters, to stop anything nuclear happening, we're going to have to pay that back. That is a karmic thing. But we are getting there, people. We are learning. We are learning, come hook or crook, to live together and to allow different cultures to be different cultures, to allow different religions to have them. So we're learning that. We're getting there. And is it pretty? No. We're like 12-year-olds on the playground, and one person's got the ice cream cone. We'll get
And
there. We'll get there.
there's enough ice cream for everybody,
There should be. You just have to find it.
right? It's a really beautiful picture of harmony and how we can come together as humans instead of being scared of each other all the time.
You know, that song I wrote, The Beauty, I wrote that to the Dene people. But it's beauty all around us, beauty everywhere, beauty to the north and south. Beauty shows we care. Beauty up above us, beauty down below, beauty in our children's hearts, beauty's all we know. And that allows that peace of mind and that comfort to raise the energy field from these lower dramatic chakras up to the heart. And once it reaches the heart, it can shoot up.
That
So
is
there you are.
gorgeous. The beauty way.
Very
I can
beautiful.
feel the power of that.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I recorded that. It's there. And Tammy Janud put it to a video. But I wrote it to the people, and many native tribes call themselves the people. I'm not Dene. That's not who I am. But I felt that very strongly after I read some things about their culture and their people. So it's a gift to them, but it was a gift to me too, because I feel great peace whenever I hear that song. Yeah, I wrote it. I forget that I wrote it. That's really cool. Geez, Zoli, where'd that come from? I don't know.
That's that co-creation you're always talking about.
It is. It is co-creation. That's how miracles happen. You don't do anything by yourself. Miracles happen as a co-creation between us, the human being, and higher power and spirit, the divine. It happens through beings who have passed through this planet and are still here to help us. God help them. Why they'd want to do that? I'm heading to Sirius, by the way, so give me a ticket. But higher power allows that. And we are literally, when a so-called miraculous things happen, it's extreme synchronicity. And you are in synchronous alignment and agreement with all that is. It's out of time and space. And there's more and more of this happening all over the world. There's more and more of it happening. And it's not that it's something that is unreachable, it is reachable. And it may be happening daily. You may see these things in your life and take it for granted or not recognize what it is, but look for it and ask for it because it's your birthright.
We'll leave it on that glorious thought. Thank you, Zoli, as always, for bringing in the
Thank
hope
you.
and the insight.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Take care. We'll talk soon.